Hello.
How are you?
I'm flying by the seat of my pants, but
That's all right.
oh my
How many
gosh.
people have signed up?
18.
No shit.
I know. I'm like, what? So yeah, it'll be interesting.
That'll be good though.
Yeah. So I was just trying to go through last night or all day yesterday, really kind of updating the stuff for the COVID and for virtual and all that other stuff because I hadn't had to do that yet. So
Right.
it's all good. I was just playing.
You'll be fine.
Have you played with it's like how you set your video to be what people see instead of people talking? Like I have it checked for spotlight my video when I speak.
Right.
So I think that's gonna keep the presentation up even if somebody's not muted and they talk. Spotlight my video. I think spotlighting is what I want.
Spotlight my video.
Yeah. So like if I'm gonna screen share and I'm gonna show my presentation.
I haven't even looked at that one.
Okay.
We'll give it a try right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out even how I do this. So I'm gonna screen share that and share. But what do you see? You see?
I see your screen and I see my, the people over my little film strip.
Okay, and you don't see this in full view, do you? You see it as?
Yeah. Oh, well, I see. So you want it in presentation mode? You don't want the slides along the side on the left there?
Right. So I think if I do it from here, like that.
Correct.
Okay. And then, so when you talk, it doesn't jump to you. So that's good, right?
Right. Yes.
Yay!
Yay, you got it. Yes. Spotlight when I speak is a feature that would display your video on your own screen when you are in active speaker video layout and are talking.
Yeah, good.
This can be useful if you're recording locally.
There's Carly.
Hello.
Hi, Carly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I gotta figure out how do I switch it to I'm on an iPad. How do I switch it so I can see everybody's faces?
I might have it set up right now. Here, I'll stop sharing.
See, that yeah. Okay, so because you're going to be sharing, I'm not going to be able to see everybody. But okay, that's not a problem.
Yeah, but I can wait until everybody kind of signs in, and then we'll jump to that. We were just playing with that feature.
Right.
Oh my gosh, always something. So Irene's coming in. Looks like she's connecting. So yeah, we were just saying that there's like 18 people supposed to be on this. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see everybody on one screen anyway.
Anyway, right.
Yeah, isn't the max like 9 or something on one screen?
On the iPad, yeah, I'm not sure. I've had 12 on my laptop.
Yeah, I've had 12.
Okay.
Irene's audio is still connecting. That's weird. Okay. Hi, Irene.
Hello, Sandy.
How are you?
Oh, life is crazy these days, but it's a good kind of crazy.
Oh my God.
Oh, now I can't see you.
You can or you can't?
Cannot.
Can you see any of us, Irene?
Do you still see me?
I see you, I hear you, and I see
Oh. Okay.
4 of us.
Yay, Joanna, Carly. That's lots of good things happening. We'll have to talk.
Yes.
It's always good.
There's fun
We
stuff
like
going
good
on.
things.
So I'm going to try to capture like timing on this to see how it goes virtually versus in person. You know, normally we have a little bit of chit chat time till everybody walks in the room and, you know, then we kick off. But I think virtual has been going faster,
Right.
but
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
seem to have enough to cover for an hour and a half, and I only booked like an hour.
Oh, you did? Really? Oh, okay.
Only an hour. I don't
I'll
know.
kick you out.
And
It
I
won't
have
kick
to
you out.
I have to
won't
bug
kick you-
out. I have a noon call that I have to, I'm, you know, triple booked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Hello,
I'm gonna
Marianne.
bug out at noon.
Hello.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi, good morning. Hi, Carly. Hi, Joanna.
Hello, hello.
So Joanna, I
Hi.
might try and get you in on an
Hello.
earlier slide than normal,
Okay,
just so in case you have to leave.
okay.
Marianne, I love your background. I'm going to change mine. I got to find my flower pictures. But
Thank you. It really lifts me up when I come in.
yes,
Yeah, I see that.
yes, it lifts us up too. At
Oh,
least,
good.
yeah, me.
I still get that like shadowy thing. I can't get mine to work.
Well,
I think it's because you have light hair. Oh
No,
wait, Mary,
No,
well,
no, no.
Marion has light hair.
no. My sister had the same problem because she said her graphics card was too old to handle.
Yeah.
You know, all the.
That's
but
usually what it
she
is.
said
Oh,
she's found a workaround. She has put up a dark sheet in back of her. I don't know how she did that, but apparently that has helped her stabilize some of the video. I don't know.
Huh.
I haven't seen it yet, but
all right. We have a Mandy coming in as a guest.
Oh, good.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I see her. No video yet. So hi, Mandy.
hello.
Oh, we can hear
Hey,
you.
Mandy.
We're just letting everybody check in. There's about 18 people that were scheduled, and we've got about a third of them right now. So
Yeah, we'll
Joanna, I sent you an email just a few minutes ago.
So Mandy, how did you hear about us?
I see it.
Okay.
Oh, maybe she stepped away. You're on mute
Yeah, she's
again.
Put
muted.
herself on mute.
Mandy's muted.
She might have stepped away. But anyway.
I have a question. Sometimes I think, Irene, you do it, and I don't know who else, but sometimes when you leave, you know, like this, your picture comes up. So I'm thinking you stop the video, but how do you get a still picture of you on the screen? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you go to your profile and you upload your headshot.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, there you go. Thanks.
Yeah, and so actually, if I stop, my virtual background. Oh no, that's not it. Oh, if I turn my video camera off, that's right.
Yeah, then your still picture appears.
That's
but I
right.
got the W.
So here we go.
Oh, okay.
So now it's just
I
got your name,
sometimes it works.
Irene.
I know.
Yeah, the
I
still
don't know what
picture's
happened
not
to my
there.
picture. So I
I
don't
wonder-
know.
I wonder where it picks it up from, because Irene has had it, as has Jennifer Brownell. She has a really nice one. So does Sue. Well, anyway.
You have to be logged into your account to do that.
That's what I thought too, Mandy.
If you just so I'm not logged into my account because I pulled this from my calendar invite. But
Okay.
if you go in and make sure that you're logged in and then use the Zoom link, then your picture will show up.
Oh.
Thank
Thought I
you.
was.
There we go.
I'm learning all kinds of things.
Been
Yeah.
on 10 million Zooms in the last 8 weeks, so I'm learning
Yeah.
stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Only 10 million?
Only 10 million. Only 10 million.
Why, you're a slacker, Mandy.
I know.
I thought I was logged into my account, but I don't know.
So I see you're from UW-Madison, is that right?
Yep, I work for Extension.
So
Okay.
Ah.
I'm not sure if I know much about that, so I'll have
Which
to learn.
extension?
Winnebago County is my home. So I work for human development relationships. I work on mostly mental health, resilience, and suicide prevention is the focus of my work.
Wow.
Wow, good for you.
Do you know
Wow.
Barb Bilkey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's one of my friends. I go on vacation with her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Really? You
Yeah.
go to Mexico with her?
I
know
do.
that. Yeah, I
Yes.
met Barb. I met Barb through Midday when we raised money for her suicide prevention group at one of our golf outings a
Yes.
few years ago. Shoot,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
So Yvonne has joined us. Hello.
Hi, Yvonne.
Good to see you.
Oh, it's not, yeah. Oh, it's just 11:30. Okay.
Yeah, 11:37.
30.
So,
Wow, that's late.
Yeah, and I do have to hop off a little bit early to get ready for another Zoom. And I wasn't really sure what today was, but I've been on my list of things to do to learn more about your organization.
Oh,
So
good. Good.
yeah, since I'm
Yeah.
stuck at home doing Zooms, I might as well find a local one to hang out with.
Yeah,
That's
no
right.
kidding.
Yeah, because then when this is over, then we really hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I know.
With
go and
mine,
hang out. I've been lurking on your social media and your events. So I don't know who's in charge of that, but you do a really nice job of really a nice scope of programming and focus. And so that's what drew me to learn more.
I think it takes a whole tribe to do that.
Yeah, there's not one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
But it's our
Yeah.
PR people at the front.
I'm doing a heart. This
Yeah.
is a heart. Thank you. For all of us. Yeah, for all of us. Joanna is in, she and Sarah do a lot of all of the social media, and Sandy website, and we all work on it. Well, not me. I need to stay off of it because I mess things up, but ideas.
Yeah, we all feed them information.
Yeah.
Right? I just sent another thing to Joanna. Even
I'm seeing
and
that.
we
Yeah, I'm
started-
like, oh, boy. Something else now. That's good though.
Sorry.
It's good.
Sorry,
No.
you're in my phone directory now, Joanna.
Uh-oh. I can run, but I can't hide.
Oh my gosh, no, you're on Facebook, you're on Messenger, you're on, what's the other one, Group Me, on texting. Well, I was expecting Joanne to show up too for programs, but
Yep.
maybe she has a time wrong or something. But we could kind of get started, that way. And then as people join us, we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to share my screen. I think I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Let's see if this is what you thought you were in for. So this was our lunch and learn for Midday Women's Alliance. And then I had, is my page down? Oh, how am I going to get it to page down?
Use it like you would exactly on your, see, I can help. Use it exactly like you're pretending like you're not sharing your screen. So are you doing a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yep, just go to, yep, there you
there
go.
you are.
Yep, pretend like it's not on the screen. Yep.
Okay, so then my page down didn't work. It was clicking.
Yeah, you're gonna have to click.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have to click with your mouse. Right.
All right, well, hopefully I don't have to go backwards. All right, so logistics for a virtual meeting. We don't have to talk about the bathrooms because hopefully you know where your bathroom is. Thought we would just go through just mute your audio like when you're not speaking so we don't get any reverb. The presentation is available on the website. So after this, you don't have to worry about taking notes. It's always going to be there for the latest and greatest. And this is the first time that we're doing this virtually. We do these meetings quarterly. So I'm thinking we'll still have time at the end for networking. If people are interested in that, I've set up some breakout rooms to be able to do that. So keep that in mind. But right now, I thought we could just go around and introduce ourselves. I know that Mandy, you put yours in the chat, like you followed instructions and you didn't even know that was what we were gonna do. With your business, if you wanted to put that in, and then what you were hoping to learn for today. So I'll start. My name is Sandy Rohde. As far as Midday, I'm a co-VP for membership, and I am also on the website team. I recently am co-chairing legislative with Irene for the interim, so that's another one of the hats we wear. But really for me today is to get this converted to the virtual atmosphere and then see what else we can do to improve it. So, Mary Ann, would you like to go next and then actually kick off the welcome?
Absolutely. I'd love to go next. So welcome to everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join us and to find out more about Midday Women's. Mandy, thank you for stalking us. That's wonderful. And you found this event. We appreciate that. We actually do. As you've already noticed, those of us that have roles in Midday, we are excited about not just this, but we're excited about Midday. We're excited about the work that we do, the people we're able to help, the community that we are able to serve. And our challenge has certainly been what Sandy said, moving all of this to virtual. I think we're doing okay. We're out there, and it's taken not just a team, but a community to do that. So I appreciate that. So welcome to everybody today, and I'm going to turn you over in a little bit, I think, because we'll go through introductions, but back to Sandy Rohde. But I want to tell you something about Sandy Rohde. Oh my gosh, this organization does not move without Sandy Rohde. She is a rarity among us, and I'll tell you why. Sandy Rohde is a visionary, but coupled with that, very strong with process and detail. Seriously, that's a rarity, because you could have someone like me who is very big on vision, and I just trip all over those details. So Sandy is a very key person in our organization, and she makes it rock and roll. Everybody that's on that knows her, yes, she makes this rock and roll. So thank you, Sandy, and thank you for putting this together and making it virtual. We appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, so Joanna, you are next. If you want to tell a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Joanna Toms. I've been with Midway. I say that all the time. Midday for coming up on 2 years now, and have been co-chair of our WILD committee. And can I, because I have to leave at noon, can I share a little bit about what WILD is? So WILD stands for Women in Leadership Development. And traditionally, now understand, nothing in the world is traditional anymore. So traditionally, we would do a workshop, a leadership development workshop once a quarter. And we would try to do one over the lunch hour, and then we would do one in the evening. So 2 in the lunch and 2 at evening, to try, because some people can't get away over the lunch hour, even though we're called Midday. We're trying to accommodate everybody's schedules. And they focus on, they're interactive, they are true workshops, they're not just presentations. And they focus on leadership development. Now that we've entered into the world that we've entered into, we have started to do what we're calling mini programs, virtual mini programs once a week. So that we just feel it's very, very important to keep our membership up to date with things that are going on, and to just keep in touch with them. We're losing that connectivity, we and the big we, that human connectivity. And so as much as we can get together, we try to get together. So WILD and programs, and then some things that Irene is doing with 9 to 5, we're able to schedule some weekly events for people, and they're all done virtually. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, and then I also am moving into co-chairing the PR committee with Yvonne. And that's totally new world for me. Totally new world, but I'm loving it. So.
Great. Thank you,
That's
Joanna.
You bet.
We have Joanne actually joining us too. And yep, there she is. All right. Joanne, we're just going around the table right now and having people introduce themselves. Joanna did give a little bit of a spiel on her actual chair positions because she's leaving us at noon. So she just wrapped up with that. But we'll go around the room. So Irene, you were next. We'll give you time later for all your details on all your projects. But if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Andy knows I could go on and on. I'm Irene Strobin. I wear a lot of hats with Midday right now. I'll start by saying I just love this organization, and so I'm a lot of places, and I'm here. So right now, as Sandy mentioned, I'm co-chair of our legislative committee, and actually, Sandy, you and I are interim co-chairs in search for someone who can step up and cover it for the next 2 or 3 years. I am new co-chair of our mentoring program, which I'll speak about in a little bit. I am overseeing our entrepreneur grant program, which is really relatively new for Midday. This is our 3rd year. It's very exciting. I'm also a past president, and so I'm wearing that of Prudential Advisors. I'm actually very involved with several different nonprofits in the community, and I'm an independent consultant, actually in the field of product development and innovation. But I've recently signed on with a new contract to work with 9 to 5. So if you haven't heard of them, 9 to 5 is a nonprofit organization really across the country, but the state headquarters is in Milwaukee. It's the organization for working women. So I think I'm going to be talking about that too a little later on. So I'll leave it there for now. I'll be back.
All right, thank you, Irene. Yvonne, did you want to have your time to speak? You've been with us for a while, so.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Yvonne Kale. I'm an entrepreneur and owner of Autumn Hill Creative. We're a marketing communications firm. We work with mid-sized to small businesses, making them more profitable. I have been with Midday since 2004. I am a past woman of distinction through Midday, and I have served on the Welcome Committee. I'm just transitioning mentoring. I'm now co-chair with PR with Joanna. So there's many different ways to be involved, many ways that you can benefit and help others through your efforts at Midday Women's Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then Joanne, we'll hit you for just a brief introduction. We'll have more time later to go into details of all your roles, but.
Okay, my name is Joanne Maria Hazy, and I am the Vice President of Programs. Programs is the committee that gets the ideas for and puts on the events and monthly membership meetings. So that's always good to have a lot of people with a lot of ideas in that committee. I also am the chairperson for foundations, and that is going to be a little different. This year, stuff is changing with the environment, so we're going to have to figure out how we want that one to be. I am also am a committee member for legislation and PR, and yeah, I think that's it. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that was people that were on the board to give others a chance to think about what they wanted to say. So Carly, do you want to go next?
Hello, I am Carly Musil. I am a financial advisor with Edward Jones. I help individuals business owners and their families meet their long-term financial goals. I've been with Midday for, I think, since November of 2019, and I'm currently a co-chair of the Women of Distinction Committee. So I don't know, today I like to be able to meet with you ladies and get a little bit more involved. I had a stint of where it was a little bit more difficult because I'm a mother of 2 children, and you know, this whole life has been kind of crazy with that. So
yeah. Well, and I like coming to these, you know, when I first joined, I liked coming to these because you would learn something new every time.
yeah.
You know, and it's the same, you know, we're all humans. You hear something 2 or 3 times and you're all of a sudden like, oh, I never heard that before. Oh yeah, I did hear that before. So I love these, you know, lunch and learns and getting to know us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Good. Yeah, because I actually, we dig around and learn and we improve it almost every time. So feedback's appreciated. All right. Well, thank you, Carly. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
All right, Mandy, if you would like to introduce yourself. Mandy's a guest for us. She's a Facebook stalker, is what she told us earlier.
Watcher, yeah.
Yeah.
So, am I the only new person here?
Seems like
Right
it.
now, we actually did have like 6 guests that were planned. I don't know what's going on with that, but
Life. So, I did mention that I can only stay between 12:10 and 12:15 because I have another meeting to get ready for. But my name is Mandy Dornfeld. I am a human development relationships educator for UW-Madison Division of Extension. So I think I shared a little bit that my focus is on resiliency and community strengthening and suicide prevention. So I do a lot of research. It's part of my job. And I had been a part of some other community leadership groups, and so I'm looking for a new fit. So I've been watching your mission and values and vision and some of your work for probably about a year, thinking about fit and where my skills and talents might benefit and also where I can grow. So I live in Little Chute. I hope you know where that is. We have a windmill.
That's why
But
I'm
I'm not.
late. I just came from there. Had to
You
drop
laugh?
some granddaughters off.
Do people actually move out? No, I'm kidding. I graduated from Little Chute, but my parents didn't, so I'm still not a real Little Shooter, I guess, from what I hear. And so, which is fine. So I'm part of the governance board here for the charter schools, and I've been really involved in the community. I've lived here my whole life, so you know, it's I have a college graduate who's graduating from my garage Saturday from UW-Madison, and a high school junior. And so we are finishing up. Our high school junior is finishing her 13th year of Girl Scouts with her Gold Award. And so I'm looking for some new opportunities. So transitioning parenting to an empty nest in the next year.
oh my gosh, Mandy, you have so many connections. As you were speaking, my head was just flying.
I am well connected. That's one of my things I do in this world is knowing people, and not in like a yucky way, but in like, oh yeah, I know them or they know me. Yeah, it's just I love people, and so that's really what I've been intrigued with is your diligence to connecting people. I think that's what I see in your website and stuff like that. So I like that that's your purpose. Is one of your purposes that I've sort of ascertained is connection.
Nice. We do have past members, current members. I actually work for the Girl Scouts 10 hours a week as my way of giving back, and volunteering with a little bit of pay is what I say.
So Sarah Keenan is one of my friends. I love Sarah.
Nice. All right. So my son actually was a UW Whitewater graduate in December. So he actually got to walk. I'm like, you're glad you didn't wait till spring, right?
Yeah, I have the worst college campus in America, right? My house.
Yeah. So, well, welcome. Do you by chance do presentations on your resilience? I'm just thinking that this is a time we could all use a little bit of help with that probably. And Joanna on the Wild is that workshop kind of programming. Joanne is our programming, like our monthly meetings, our educational kind of format.
Yeah,
So,
actually, that's one of my focuses. I do community presentation. You might, I don't recognize any of you, but I might have seen you. I've done presentations for lots of groups, you know, and I'll be one of the speakers at the New Sage Women in Leadership in Green Bay conference in October. I'm sure you've heard about that. So I'm one of their keynotes. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not my purpose for joining you to promote my own work. It's really sort of more like what can I learn, but I'm happy to talk about that because that is what I do for work.
all right, Joanna just had to leave because this is her time to jump on her 12 o'clock meeting. I don't know how to do this, and I asked somebody and they didn't know either, but I don't know if there's a way that people are doing virtual business cards. Like, I've seen people put their name of their business, their websites, their phone numbers in the chats. If that's the best way to do that for Mandy, for us to be able to connect to you for a potential speaking thing, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I can also email you, or you have my registration information. If you want to shoot me an email, that might be the easier way. The new Zoom, I don't know if you if you have a pro account or not, but chats don't seem to work for sharing information because you can't copy and paste out of them well anymore.
Okay.
Because of the Zoom spammers. But I would certainly be happy if you want to just use my registration email. That was my professional email.
Okay, I can take that action item and copy Joanne and Joanna.
Also, when you're in the chat, if you go down towards the bottom, the 3 little dots, one of them is copy. Okay, so you can save it. It's not up to the presenter to do it anymore. You can do it on your own. But I have found, and I think, Carly, we were in the networking thing, and I did save it, and then everybody kept adding more. I'm like, oh, now I got to save it again. So it's like I think it's a good thing to ask right when you're ready to leave. Anybody who wants to save the chat, this is how you do it. But yeah, I didn't know that. Julie showed us how to do that yesterday. So.
Okay, all right.
And I guess I'll just add, like when I look at mine, I don't have the 3 dots to be able to save the chat. So some people might not be able to, but the iPad, I was on my phone yesterday and I'm also on an older iPad right now. So it could just be that I don't have the updated technology for it.
Yeah, Zoom is not a great platform for mobile technology. It's just not, everybody's using it because it's great to log in and stuff, but there is no perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was
well, that's me. I mean, it's not super exciting.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for
exciting.
Thanks.
All right, I'll jump back to the presentation quick. Mandy, I know you said you have to leave
in about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. I might skip over like the colic and help her get to the mission and stuff like that. If that's all right with everybody, if that makes sense to our team, I'll share back my screen then.
Well, all right. Mandy, in the 5 minutes, what would you like to learn about midday?
Everything. No, yeah, absolutely. I think I did share with Sandy, because she sent me a really sweet private message. I had to turn my camera off because some of you were freezing, so I think there was a bandwidth issue. And what I really had some specific questions around, because I've been watching you pretty thoughtfully, for a while. I was really looking at like, what is your membership demographic and what are your numbers and things like that. I was more looking for like scope and stuff like that.
All right. So, I guess there's a couple things in there. I think we can hit a couple slides quick that might show that. We normally would go through our colic, which is really kind of like an affirmation, a positive affirmation. It's got some history to it. You can see it was started back in 1904. And it's been used by like the organization Professional and Business Women that we kind of came out of, the BPW, Business and Professional Women. So this is what it would be. Again, like I said, this is all on the website. So you'll be able to get to this whole presentation. I can send you that actual link when I email you, so that you have a quick, easy way to get to it. We would normally read this out loud together, you know, that way, as a way to start off any of our meetings. But this is our mission statement. So we are really here looking to support and encourage, you know, really any professionally minded women in the Valley. And it is like myself, I'm retired, you know, there's some young professionals, there's independent, you know, business owners like in the real estate market, and then there's other consultants, but then there's other people that are part of, you know, bigger businesses, organizations. Well, Carly, like you're part of a bigger group, you know, so there's a span. We don't say it's for anybody or any type. We want to help women of all kinds.
Sandy, if I could just interject quickly, Mandy, when we say the Fox Cities or the Fox Valley, it's the corridor. We used to have somebody from Fond du Lac. I don't think we do any longer, but Oshkosh through Appleton, Little Chute to De Pere and Green Bay.
Okay.
Yep. We use these 5 pillars, we call them our names. So our focuses are on networking, advocacy, mentoring, education, and skills building. So like the education part is kind of like what Joanne does for programs, and skills building is the deeper dive, like what Joanna was talking about with the wild workshops. So there's fundraisers there. So I'll just go down. So here's where we have that list. It's like working professionals, senior executives, just community enthusiasts, you know, volunteers, every level. And we are a 501c6. And yeah, people come to us for a variety of reasons, but they stay because of the friendships, I think. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, I've learned so much just being with this group for the last couple of years that it's in my blood now. And then our virtual meetings, online payments, that kind of stuff. We do have financial hardship, especially important maybe right now during the COVID time. We've always had this, but just want to make sure people know that it's there and how to get it. These are what we consider like the cost benefit analysis of our programs. So the mentoring program, like Yvonne said, or like what Irene would say later, is, you know, priceless. And you can be a mentor or a mentee. You know, Toastmasters is the group, and you can get reimbursed. They help you to learn how to speak in public. Wild is not here. Monthly meetings, programs. Do you want to do anything more on that, Joanne? Programs?
I think that Mandy's running out of time.
Okay.
I will connect with her. Being a presenter already, I think that would be a good way to do that. But yeah, if you've ever been to a monthly meeting, the people who present, that's what we work on doing, is finding and organizing those people. Okay?
All right.
So when I'll send you an email, it'll come from my email address, and you'll know what I do, why I'm connecting with you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we did have a pie chart of benefits. We have a history that starts way back in the 1900s from our business, you know, our regular group that we came out of. Irene would normally talk about our legislative platform. Just know that we do have one. You'll see on here that in the preamble part, we do support efforts that help us get to the equal rights, and CEDAW, which is the international version of, you know, violence against women. So this is our actual platform. You can see it's about equality in pay and gender, healthcare, dependent care, education, ending violence against women, and then adding the economic security based on the Wisconsin, it's Women Elder Security Index, I think.
That's right.
Yep. And then this is like our whole, these are all the people behind the scenes and up front a little bit that it takes to run this organization. And then we would just normally go through a tour of the website. and talk about the Women's First Business Directory that you can be on when you're a member, as a way to support our members in their businesses and, you know, make that the first priority for people. So that was really fast, 10 minutes or less.
Well, I appreciate you sticking with, you know, I've planned events too where you're like, oh, I planned this event and a whole bunch of people registered and life happened. So I totally get it. So yeah, no, so what would, I know it's a strange time, right? What would the next steps be to begin formalization of engagement?
You mean for you as an individual person?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've got a ton of activity going on right now. So you're already following our Facebook page, so you can see the events that we've added in those little mini workshops specific to issues that are affecting people right now for COVID, and trying to get information that's coming out and how it can be used, you know, in a timely manner. We do still have our regular monthly program. We've got committee meetings on our calendar, board meetings on our calendar. You're free to check out any of that. That's all of our events are open to the public. So even our board meetings.
Okay.
And Sandy, do you want to mention how Mandy become a member?
Yeah, well, the membership is right online. And so if that Hardship is there if you need it. If not, it is online. As soon as it comes online, you get full benefits as far as, you know, like the financial ones that were shown. And then you would be able to connect with other people for some of the softer side benefits, like the mentoring and that kind. So, but if you have any questions on that specifically, I certainly can, you know, be a part of that, because I am the membership chair. So when you get my email, we'll go back and forth on that if we need to.
Yeah, perfect.
But yeah, we're always growing, always changing in our membership.
How many members do you have right now?
Right now we're at about 69. Okay. When I've been involved with the membership role, it's been up in the upper 80s. But May is our big time when we were on a calendar, like an annual year membership. May was the renewal time. So this is our what do I want to say, flex month. So everybody's in the pending pile until they actually renew again, you know, that way. Sure. But yeah, it's actually been fairly stable in the mid 80s as we've been doing budgets over the last 2 years. So our sweet spot that we'd like to get to is probably around 100. That's about it, where we want to go, at least with the people we have now doing the behind the scenes, you know, chair positions.
Well, and it might be worth mentioning that May 1st is the beginning of our fiscal year. So that's what Sandy was talking about in terms of transition. So we'll be seating a new board actually at our member meeting in May. So that makes it a transition time, but a fun time when we get to meet new people and keep.
Yeah. Nice. Thank
Yvonne,
you.
did you have anything else you wanted to say? You're probably one of our, you know, on this call, the longer term people too. I know you're a cheerleader for us.
Yeah. Well, I joined midday in 2004. So I joined because my daughter and I launched a business, and I was shocked to see how business women are treated in the marketplace. I had been part of a corporate organization for 20 some years, so I had been kind of protected by their policies, rules, and regulations. And when we started our business, it was really a big slap in the face to see just how women in the business world are treated, especially if they're launching a business. It's like, oh, you girls, you know, you don't know what you're doing. And so this was something that gave us the support, Midday gave us the support we needed to move forward.
Thank you. Carly, then you would be our probably newest board member, going to be anointed in May. Maybe you have something to share with Mandy before she has to step off.
I don't know. I mean, sorry.
That's fun.
My dogs are going crazy. Hey.
My dog is on high alert now.
sorry. There's
okay.
someone just delivered something, I think. So, but anyway, as a new member, I guess, and board member, they're so distracting. Sorry. I don't know. I really enjoy meeting with this group of women. They all have, you know, a variety of different knowledge in different areas. And as somebody who I'm building my own business in the financial space, and connecting with people is really kind of one of my big focuses right now. So it sounds like, you know, you're heavily involved with connecting with people. So it's a great opportunity to just meet new people and expand based on their networks too. So it's fun. And in the normal world, right? Like, we always get to have lunch, and we always get to, you know, talk to people, you know, individually. So that's always nice.
Great, thank you. So
Mhm.
Mandy,
Sorry about the dogs.
No, I have dogs. If you haven't already jumped in on one of the networking events, Tuesday mornings at 7:30, right? They've been cranking it on Tuesday mornings. So Julie that runs that has been doing a great job. That's been very, well attended and dynamic, and just you know, where normally people maybe couldn't have made it to that physical meeting, more have been joining on virtual.
If I can jump in on that, we've made connections. Carly can probably attest to this too on those Tuesday morning networking. We have people who tell us about their business, and somebody else will say, oh my gosh, I have to call you. I can do something. I can send you somebody. So it's working. I really want this screenshot where I can do arrows and say, we are connecting, because we are. By the way, Mandy, I was so excited about telling you and welcoming everybody to this. And I'm the co-president with Sarah Coonan, who you know very well, right?
I don't know Sarah.
Oh, I thought you said you knew Sarah Coonan. Who'd you say you knew?
Our big Alki.
Yeah.
Well, that was really, I don't know where I got Sarah Coonan from, but anyway, she's our other co-president.
It was somebody that Sandy's with Girl Scouts.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sarah Keeney.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay. It's okay.
All right.
It's exciting though, you know, I mean, yeah.
So Mandy, I know that you have very little time left, but tomorrow night we actually have 2 different events going on. We have a networking one, and there's also Sarah Coonan, the other vice president, is doing a presentation for small businesses about the SBA loans and all that through COVID. She is a business attorney. So, and that's going from 6 to about 6:30 or 6:45. But the networking one is from 7 to from 5 to I think 7:30.
Something like that, yeah.
So yeah, so there's 2
I have a question
tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question on that. Is that 2 different Zoom meetings, or is it all? Okay, so we have to log into the other one if we want to watch Sarah's presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 2 different devices. My laptop and my
Oh,
phone.
that's a good idea.
But
Yeah,
if you
that's a
do
good idea.
that, if you do that, make sure one's on mute, because the feedback is horrible.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you all for your time. I do have to step away. I appreciate the information, and I will be in touch.
All right, nice to meet you. We'll
Nice
send
to
you
meet you.
details.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you.
Mandy.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Well,
So-
thank you guys for everybody's flexibility on that.
So Sandy, you'll send Mandy's email to all of us,
Sure.
just Ann and Joanna,
Yeah.
please?
I can send it to everybody that was on the call. I mean, it sounds like she has connections and purpose with almost everybody.
Well, I just met somebody else from the UW Extension who works in Winnebago County. I just can't remember her name, but she works in human development, but focused on entrepreneurs. So trying to figure out, you know, I haven't met anyone from UW Extension in all these years, and so I've met 2 in the last 3 months. That's
Oh my
kinda
gosh.
one of those.
So while I have you guys, could I use your time to just help me with the updates we did do to this presentation, and let me know if there's any questions?
Well, Carly being relatively new still, I mean, we probably need to ensure that Carly's questions and
Yeah.
need for information is also satisfied.
Okay, then I'll go back to the presentation. We can walk through it and let me know what we want to do a deeper dive into, okay? Share that. Okay, so let me just jump back to the beginning here. I'll keep it in this format. I think we're probably good with the logistics. And Carly, you're familiar with the colic already, but you might not know the history, you know, that it did
Yeah,
come.
I do. Yep. I know the history. I know that I've been to quite a few meetings. I think I've been to every monthly meeting that was in person since November.
Nice, nice. All right, so then the colic is there. I can fold this up a little bit. There we go. So this is our technically our mission statement and the information that we share. You've probably heard us talk about the names with the networking, advocacy, mentoring, education, skills building. And if you have questions on how that connects into the actual tasks that we're doing, like what I was saying, the education is really the programs, skills building is really wild, you know, and then of course, you know that there's a whole lot more going on besides just those buckets.
Yep.
And then the fundraiser part, like the black and pink, Joanne is going to take foundations and put an umbrella over all of those individual activities that were going on. Where did we decide Women of Distinction ends up? Is that a program? Or is that foundations? I think it ended up in the programs, right?
Programs, yes,
Okay.
programs. And Sandy, if I could interject something. So Carly and everybody really, we are looking for ideas. Joanne and I've talked quite a bit about foundations. We're looking for ideas for fundraising and reasons to fundraise. You know, everything got turned around. You know, we were doing the black and pink ball, and now COVID-19 has stopped so many things, you know, one-on-one. So we're looking for a couple, perhaps several things this year, littler commitments that we could do. Maybe it's something coming out of COVID-19. I don't know, but where can we help? Where can we raise some funds for? I know the Women's Fund just came out yesterday with their newsletter, and they are having where you can donate to them, and it would be in the name of another person that you think is a great mother, you know, so they would put the name to your donation. I think I know we have to think differently about fundraising. And so Joanne and I've had discussions, and we'll be asking everybody their thoughts on it.
Yeah, and I was toying with the wording on that when I was updating this. It's really, like when I think of fundraising, I think of like for us. But really, we fundraise for benefit to something else.
Yeah, every
So it's
dollar we
like
fundraise.
benefit fundraising.
Right, right.
So
We do not get to keep any of it.
right. So something we've never talked about, Joanne, is even identifying partner organizations, because there's so many nonprofits in the area that are focused on women and girls.
Mhm.
That should tie right in with our mission. And rather than, you know, opening up our fundraising to anyone, maybe this is a chance to strengthen our partnership with some key organizations rather than everyone.
Oh, that was definitely going to be a part of it, and accountability for what they're doing with the funds and reporting back and all that kind of stuff. However, just yesterday I listened to Nonprofit Leadership Institute, a sustenance and sustainability with fundraising, and that was basically geared toward 501c3s. But you know, Mary Ann has the question out there: what are we going to look like? What are we going to look like? You know, this is our chance to change. What are we going to do? And there were a couple of real heavy questions that he asked, and I was like, I think this is the greatest way to start. One of them was, who will be affected if we're not here? I get goosebumps just saying that. So that's where we can start to think, those are the people we need to focus on still being here for, right? And it just, if we all come to the room with answers to those questions, because we're all going to look at that question differently, I think it'll give us a good starting point. But they're going to share a link, and the slideshow is one thing. It's a lot about fundraising, but it's for fundraisings to pay for their staff and salaries and that kind of stuff, which we don't get to fundraise in that manner, but we can fundraise to help somebody else in that manner. We can be the sponsor, they can benefit from us. So, and I would like to look into doing foundations that way, doing fundraising that way. However, I'm not going to do it all by myself. So I would like to have a strong team and people with lots of good ideas. And being on the committee doesn't mean you have to run anything. It's just, if you can just pop in every now and then with a great idea, that's good for me. So I'm waiting to get the link so that I can formulate those questions. But yeah, Irene, definitely to have some nonprofits that are vetted, that work for women businesses, help families, that kind of stuff. That's one of the big things that I was really interested in starting from. And not having one great big huge event, but maybe every other month. And the months we don't have a smaller event, have a call to action for something. It's, just something so that we're always doing something. It doesn't have to be huge, just something.
So then I guess the action item, somehow we need to get that out to, well, the board maybe first, but maybe even members as the organizations that people see that we are partnered with. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they don't see it and we are behind the scenes. I mean, Irene, I know you're connected to a bunch of groups that we, partner with to certain degrees. So just to get a start on what that list is and then, vet it, I guess, right?
Definitely.
So I have a question as the newest person on the call here. Traditionally, so when we would raise funds through the Black and Pink Ball and things like that, where were they typically allocated?
Last year, it went to Babes. Year before that, it went to Community Clothes Closet. Year before that, I don't know.
Well, it's on our website. I mean, there's a list of who's been recipients of the Black and Pink Ball out there.
I think what Carly wants to know is the process.
Oh.
So any nonprofit can apply to the recipient, but they have to go through a application process, and the committee vets and chooses that recipient.
Okay.
And it was focused on women and children, I believe. Women, children, I don't know. Because like with the Community Clothes Closet, that's kind of very big and broad and supports everybody. But the part that we supported was their little boutique that gives people professional clothes to wear when they're going for interviews and stuff.
Okay.
So that kind of tied into our mission.
So one of the questions on the application, Carly, I think we had about 8 questions for each nonprofit to fill out in the application. One was, so how does what you do and what you're asking for, how will that coincide with our mission? The mission that we have. How do you see that working with our mission? So I think we have a really good process for application.
And I know for Women of Distinction, they formalized the process in the last couple of years. They've been tweaking on that. Again, to see how that woman is demonstrating stuff that we like, that supports women, same kind of concept. There's a questionnaire application that was needed and then ranked on those answers to come up with it.
Yep.
Okay. And what other fundraising things are there besides the Black and Pink Ball?
In the past, we had a golf outing, but that is it's all BS because it's before Sandy. But yeah, I was never part of the golf outing. I think the last one was held like the year that I was joining. And so I kind of got in it and didn't have it on my calendar to be able to make it.
Okay. So basically the only fundraising efforts that we have right now is the Black and Pink Ball.
Except in the past, right, but it's going to be different now.
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to get an understanding of
Yeah.
What are we transitioning to, and where were we? What are we transitioning from?
Yep.
Where were we is Black and Pink and the golf outing. And where we're transitioning to is going to be smaller events that aren't so labor intensive and more frequent.
Like an example of how things have kind of been morphing. We used to have a membership kind of drive meeting that was a fashion show, professional dress show, whatever you want to call it. And at that time, we invited Community Clothes Closet to be the recipient of donations, right? So we were asking, showing people current trends and tips and tricks on how to dress professionally. Well, if you're going to go through your closet then and purge stuff, bring it to the meeting and we're going to donate it to Clothes Closet. And at our regular program meetings, when we selected the recipient for Black and Pink one year, it was like, I don't know, very, very close between several organizations. And we felt bad that we weren't able to help the other ones that didn't ultimately get picked. So we set up the community tables that were available at the program. So out in the lobby area where people could have a presentation, and then they were given 5-10 minute spiel during the meeting. I don't remember some of those. It was I don't know, just different people. I can't remember who it was, but again, those were nonprofits that we just gave them a little space to have their stuff shown for people that are part of our membership and coming to our meetings to see, gave them a little talking time. Some of those turned into actual people that came back and gave us a program. I'm thinking of the light one, the lady that shines the light on the child abuse kinds of stuff. Then they were training other people, or there was the one that was the new way to test breast cancer, your breast mammograms kind of thing. So I don't know, those were just different. So things we've been trying different ways to kind of get more of an impact to more places. And I see Joanne's stuff as just really kind of expanding that and formalizing it to allow us to do kind of more that way.
Okay.
The other thing I'll mention is the Entrepreneur Grant Program actually falls under foundations, because that $2,000 grant has to come from somewhere. And so half of it has been coming from our Midday Women's Fund, an endowed fund that's held at the Women's Fund. I can go into that if you're interested. But the other $1,000 has come from the funds that were raised at Black and Pink Ball. So we still have to have that $1,000 income that comes from somewhere to help to fund the grant, unless we decide we don't want to give as much money, we want the program to go away or whatever. And the board can make those decisions if we decide we don't want to do that. Now, I would be against eliminating the Entrepreneur Grant Program, but I mean, there's nothing that forces us to that.
All right, good discussion. So on this page, this is it's everybody. We were actually just having some discussions, comments. Marianne, your comment back to Sarah Fabry today was that, we kind of had this business women's, but there's other professional women in roles. Sarah's really kind of exploring her education in nursing, and if she's going to pivot back into that. So it's can't we still support women no matter what they're doing, right? So
I certainly hope so.
Okay. So I can give a little bit of history that might be interesting, if not valuable. So again, you said we were born out of BPW, Business and Professional Women. And I joined in 2009 when there's a story there, but basically when we were transitioning away from BPW. I was just fresh out of Kimberly-Clark and looking for things to do, so I volunteered for an ad hoc committee at the state level trying to figure out, well, what do we become if we're not BPW? We specifically chose the name at that time at the state level, Wisconsin Women's Alliance, to soften that requirement that we are business professional women. We want it to be more inclusive. And so Wisconsin Women's Alliance no longer exists, but Midday Women's Alliance is still very inclusive title for us. We don't need to be just business or professional women. So that's where retirees and volunteers and enthusiasts come in. So the question is, what do we do to attract women that are business women, professional women, as well as the others?
Good background. I did not know. I guess I kind of didn't know that, but all right.
But now you do.
See, now I learned something more, right? Even I learn every time.
Yeah, our history is pretty interesting, and if you're ever bored, I can go into more in terms of why the Wisconsin state needed to be something other than MDWA.
All right. Did you have any questions on the benefits package? This was changed for everybody that's on the call for the COVID stuff. So we took a stab at like the wild workshops. We've switched everything to virtual right now, and then going forward, we're hoping that we'll be able to do face-to-face again. I don't know, but for today's presentation, we put that in here, and we kind of adjusted our numbers so that it wasn't the 4 wild workshops that we do, that you get a free thing where in our normal world, people were paying 20, 25 for those. Yeah. And so we think virtually we might be able to offer non-members the workshops, but with a small fee, especially if our speaker is charging us, right? So right now, a lot of people have been kind of jumping in and just offering services, but that's already kind of pulling back. So we'll adjust with that, but we'll continue to offer the benefits. And so that's going to be the split again between being a member or not. In the monthly meetings, we switched down to the benefits just to, if we get back to face-to-face for the second half of our fiscal year, that way. And then Fusion right now is still on there because technically they haven't formally canceled it. So.
What is Fusion again?
So Fusion is a once-a-year event that's been held at the PAC recently, and they bring in amazing speakers like women that climb Mount Everest and talk about what it takes to do that, because you go up, you go back, you go up, you go back, and then you go up a little further and you go back. So that kind of persistence, resilience, and all of it, but they'll bring in speakers like that. It's just to support women in business, but you have to be a sponsoring organization like a Kimberly Clark or a Miller or whatever to actually get tickets for the event that you would then use for your employees to go. The only way that you can get tickets if you're not one of those sponsoring organizations is to get the tickets through Midday.
Okay.
So Midday is the funnel that people come through that are like one-ups, and that's intentional for us to be a partner in that organization, a way to sponsor, but not to have any employees, so to speak, so we can funnel that to the public.
Okay.
And then that comes into our contacts, right? Our contact database.
I wanted to add, Carly, why we have monthly meetings on there, because we subsidize, Midday Women subsidizes the cost of, for the members, the cost of the meal. So everybody pays $15. Well, if you register ahead of time, if you will. But it costs us more than that for the meal. So we subsidize a certain amount. It's probably, I don't know, it's $5, I think, about that we subsidize per person now, per meal.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So then that's just the visual of it. This is all the history. So that's, again, something you might have seen. It is available. It does go way back, and this talks to some of the points that Irene mentioned before. But the foundation, I guess, has always been an influential group. So on the stock exchange and supporting legislation that's put through and just all that kind of stuff, besides the general supporting women in business kind of thing. So, yeah. And then we actually put in this last one for the 9 to 5 grant work, the education work that we're doing for COVID as our most recent add to that list. So the legislative platform, I'm not sure if you've been to any of the legislative committee meetings.
Nope,
Or-
I have not.
Or our movie nights, or I have fun at them anyway. So Irene, do you want to speak on this part then? You normally would.
Yeah, so it's kind of a matter of how interested Carly is in this. So, I mean, Sandy went through it really quickly before, which I applaud you, Sandy, for being able to cover it in about 20 seconds. But I think overall, it's important for you to know that the legislative committee is very focused on education. So the platform tells us what are the things going on legislatively for women that we should be interested in. There are times that some of the members that come want to tug us in the direction of things like voting rights or environmental issues. And nope, it's not on our platform. There are other organizations where you can do work on environmental issues, but Midday's not really one of them, sorry. And so we actually 3 years ago decided to start working through the platform to educate ourselves, that is the committee. And as I put it, we got stuck. We read the mission, and then the next slide gets to the introduction or the preamble. And so realized we didn't know enough about Alice Paul Equal Rights Amendment, and we absolutely were not educated on CEDAW, the Convention to Eliminate Discrimination Against Women. And so as I said, we got stuck, as in we basically spent 2+ years educating ourselves, and there's so much that's started going on around the ERA that we've just continued following the story, getting the newest information out there, and doing, taking some action to advocate. But the other items in our platform are also very important, especially to working women, and especially item number 1. But the other items are also important to a successful, productive working woman. So the first one obviously covers the workforce and the things we talk about in terms of pay gap, pay equity, and gender discrimination are right up there. And what I personally have found is that I wasn't even aware of all of the parts or all of the experiences I had in terms of the pay gap and gender discrimination until I joined Midday and started looking into it and thinking about it more.
Irene, if I can jump in quick, there's right now too, with all this COVID stuff, there's been a couple articles already that I've read and seen that are talking about how women are disproportionately impacted by the environment we're in right now because of the virus, related to these things, right? The pay, they don't have the sick pay, they don't have the insurance, they don't have the dependent care, like coverage for, so all of this all of a sudden just became very much more in focus.
Yeah, what's very interesting is, and not surprising for those of us who've been working in this area for a while, that the current healthcare crisis has really just uncovered the disadvantages and inequities that already existed, but they've really exaggerated them. And so what's happened is it's more likely to be women that are affected. So then just to close out what's in our platform, to me, since I went through a time and I'm still struggling with being able to afford health insurance, health care for women is really essential to be able to work, to be productive. And reproductive health care is part of this platform item. As Sandy just mentioned, being able to have access to good, affordable dependent care is critical. A lot of women are struggling with being able to cover their dependent care and homeschooling, as well as, having to work from home. I'm glad I don't have to do that. And so actually, to be honestly, item number 3 is one of our platform items that has gotten the least amount of attention. But wow, it's like front and center for so many women now. So we need to educate ourselves better on what's going on there right now and what's needed in the future. Item number 4 deals with education. Title IX is the key law at the federal level that guarantees equal opportunities, and yet, it's not happening. And actually, a lot of the work to encourage women and girls to go into the STEM fields actually fits here too when we talk about all areas of study.
And
Sandy.
that Title IX right now is being challenged
By Betsy DeVos of all people.
Right. So it's coming front and center in that piece too. I mean, in the news as of this morning. So.
Oh, I have been too busy. I haven't really paid any attention to any news today.
Yeah.
Item 5 seems to be like, well, of course, we want to end acts of violence against women, and yet the Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, has not been reauthorized by the Senate. Therefore, we do not have a reauthorization of VAWA, which is kind of unbelievable. And then
Tacking other stuff on.
What was that, Joanne?
They mix it in with other things. They don't let it go through clear. So that's a big part of the problem.
Yeah, amendments that are added to the bill. Yep, that's politics, pure and simple.
Yeah. And Carly, you probably don't know, but I'm also a local leader for a Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. So the stay-at-home order has actually had some really negative effects, right, on domestic abuse.
Yeah.
And on prevalence of kids being home more where there's unsecured guns. So, not that that's this platform in particular, but COVID has raised the awareness of this issue too that's on our platform.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like COVID-19 has shone a light on all the not so good things happening in our communities and in our economy. And so speaking of the economy, then the last item deals with economic security for all women, but especially the elder women in state. When I was first exposed to the Women Elder Security Index, I was just shocked to see the percentage of older women that are not living at the poverty level, let alone 400%. And it has everything to do with pay gap from years ago, the way that Social Security flows to widows. And so this is another item that we need to educate ourselves better on, and then turn around and educate our members. So what we do is we educate ourselves in our meeting, and then key pieces of information are flowing. We get that, usually get a legislative moment at members' meetings where we can provide little tidbits of information. But as you know, probably since November, we've been talking a lot about equal rights and the pay gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot there. You can go on and on.
Yeah.
So I have a question, because when I was talking to Marianne about where I would, feel like would want to participate from more than just a member perspective, I had mentioned, I was like, oh, I want to be on the legislative committee. And she's like, we have so many members on the legislative committee.
So what? Come and join us. We're fun.
No. There's no limit. There is no limit to the number of committee members.
Yep.
So, but my question is, so you guys are interim co-chairs or whatever. Do you guys have people that are stepping up to chair?
Oh, that's why we're interim. I mean, this really would be my 5th year as co-chair, and our bylaws limits a particular position 3 years. Sandy already has her hands full with membership and website and other things. So we did reach out to some of the newer members of the committee to find out if they were interested in being co-chair, and they weren't willing to, I guess, take the risk of having to learn, quote unquote, learn so much in a hurry. But, I'm willing to be mentor and to pass on all that I know in terms of not just specific legislation, but really more like the process, the way we've led committee. I've had I've had 2 different chairs in the last 2 years. I can't remember. I think the first year I was chair by myself. I can't remember. It all blends together. So I think if you're interested in being co-chair of legislation, Carly, that would be awesome. And Sandy and I will help you with. Sandy's shtick is expert in all things website as well as all things wild apricot, because that's about half of the responsibility. And then, what I do is I help to identify what's going on that we need to talk about and what are the strategies within the committee that we need to, keep track of.
So as Mary Ann said, I'm kind of a big picture, but into the details. So every piece I've touched on, I've kind of put details into the website. So our past presidents are listed there. Our women of distinction past people are listed there. Black and pink people are listed there. Just because I felt like that history needs to be maintained, because that's also shows who we really have been for a long time, and that we continue to be that way. So jumping into legislation, I tried to assemble a list of everything that I've learned from the last couple of years of being on that committee. Documents I loved and movies we've watched and things like the research we've done as a committee. We put together a 3-page resource guide, of all that stuff. But, it's great stuff to have. And it shows that we are learning, we're engaging, we're having an impact. So and that's what we do in every piece. It's just that's now we're focused on legislation. So
now Sandy's focused on legislation.
Yeah.
And that will make it so much easier for not just committee members but future chairs of the committee to just pick up and going.
So to Carly and to all of you, in defense of what I did say, this was at a time no, and I'm serious because, I'm big picture. I have to see a balance. And so I work for a balance in our committees, and we don't have a balance right now. But anyway, when Carly and I talked about it, it was during a face-to-face networking. So it was some time ago when Amanda was still active. So it was a time when you had some staff, if you will, and others did not. So Carly, certainly wherever your interests are.
Well, no, and it wasn't that, no, I don't want to push it off as though she said, don't be a part of it. She had just said, we have some gaps in some other areas that we would really like to fill. And my question was more along the lines of, it sounds like, although there was a huge amount of people who are on the committee, my question is, why isn't anybody stepping up to co-chair for people that have been on it, I guess, or the feedback as to,
Yeah, okay, so I the other thing going on with that committee is that my observation is it's real leaders, women leaders who are very interested in legislation. They also have other portfolios on the midday board. So Marianne is a member, and Joanne is a member, and Joanna is a member. And so when I joined midday, we had an unwritten rule that you could only have one position at the board table. Obviously, we've broken that many times in the recent past. But there's a key reason why I have not reached out to current board members to take on legislation. So that's why it was only newer members that I asked, and they all, they're newer than you are. So they really felt like they were just too new to take get on, and so.
Okay. And that's fair. I mean, I was just curious. For me, I mean, I'm definitely interested. My biggest concern is legislation just seems like such a huge task to take on, right? Like there's so much to learn. And for me, especially now with COVID-19, it makes me go, I don't know if I have the time to put into having more than one board position at this point.
Right, right. And that's exactly why
Well,
I had to step away, is her environment got thrown upside down. She's a single mom, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
yeah, and so Carly, maybe what we should do is have you come to our next legislative committee meeting, and Sandy and I can just include you with our planning, because I always, you know, have a planning meeting before the committee meeting.
Okay.
And then we can slowly, you know, integrate you into things, and then once you see what we do, then you can decide if you have time for it.
Okay.
Well,
That's
and the
fair.
other- Yeah, the
I mean,
other
this
thing is,
this
go ahead.
this is how I work. Within a month, the amount of time that I spend on committee work, true committee work, is maybe outside planning meeting, maybe another hour at most. And that might be because I'm, you know, following news and information throughout weeks. So, okay, Joanne.
Carly, you're on the board because of the Women of Distinction, right?
Yes.
Okay. Women of Distinction is something that is an awesome event, but it's not a year-long thing.
Yep.
Okay, so if you were part of the legislative committee, and I'm just going to say this because it's part of programs, being in charge of programs, I was on the Women of Distinction committee last year. There was enough work that the ladies who were in charge took over and did, but it was an October program, and we started like in May, getting the applications out, then getting the applications back and all that kind of stuff. So from basically November on, you know, you could, I'm just saying it wouldn't be a bad blend. I'm not saying you have to do both, but you could definitely be active on the legislative committee and do Women of Distinction too. You won't be alone on Women of Distinction.
no,
Okay.
or on any of it, yeah.
Right.
So we'll add you to the list for legislation, okay, Carly? Yeah? All right.
Well, you
Sounds
can at
good.
least be on the committee.
Yeah, I think being on the committee is a good thing. I mean, and Irene, I love sitting there and listening to the stories and being educated myself through those committee meetings, but there is just no way for me to take the amount of time to give it any, I wouldn't honor it. I don't have that time. You know, I've got 4 days a week now that I have grandkids here. So yeah, it's a big chunk of my day. And now they're talking October. So this is not going away. It's not going away fast. And this is not the life I signed up for. I'm not complaining about it. It's just I'm rolling with the punches like everybody else. This morning, I had to learn how to teach my granddaughter how to use mixed numbers. We had to cook
Wow.
we had to cook something using mixed numbers.
Oh, I love it. I was a
Yeah.
math major, so I love
Oh, and I have no problem. And she caught on to it really quick. She's a smart person, but we had to cook something and take
yeah,
pictures.
well,
And that,
I love it.
I mean, I could have just sat there and had a cup of coffee, but no. So that's what I'm saying. I know I can't honor it with what I'm doing with programs and now foundations, which I see tying pretty closely together. I wouldn't do it any good. So, yeah.
Well, and so like kind of to wrap up the call or the conversation, you know, we cover our names things, right? The networking, advocacy, mentoring, well, you know, education, skills building. This is all the other things that are behind the scenes So we do have bylaws, like we are an official organization, right? And 501c6. Then there's like the grant stuff. We have a finance person that actually is responsible for auditing our treasurer. Like we have to have that done. That's part of our bylaws, you know, to make us
It's
a
a
viable
review,
company, organization, right? That
a
is,
financial review.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Not audit.
Not
Right.
audit. Yep. Not full audit. We just added in historian. Historian has been one of those things that could have been there, but nobody was in that spot. And our bylaws person just moved to historian. So, you know, we had a co-chair on bylaws, which really doesn't need it, but you needed it for that transition time, right? So they transitioned together for a year, and now Kate is keeping it, and then Mo went to historian. So, but like nominations is behind the scenes that looks for people that might want to take on positions within our membership, right? But you have to get to know those people and know what they're interested in to know if there's a match. Outreach is more or less a bigger kind of vision of networking, where like we used to go do presentations at, say, the Kimberly Clarks of the world, and then they would come and do a presentation about their women's network to our group, right? And we would kind of collaborate that way. So it's kind of the networking piece, but at a different twist.
Yeah. So those sessions were all about networking, and the presentations were a way to just kick it off so that we knew something about each other.
Public relations, marketing, that's really the people that keep us with the same color green. They manage our social media presence on like all platforms, like Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, Facebook, you know, that kind of stuff. They also do press releases, and that's a piece that a lot of people don't know, that, you know, occasionally we get a press release out there about something big that's coming up. Like our Women of Distinction might be something where we do a press release to announce that we're opening up the nominations, and then announcing our winner, you know, that kind of stuff. Secretary, there's a couple things in the bylaws that say are to be recorded. So they do that. That role has significantly changed since the paper days, right? The paper days membership had to keep manual logs of who was where, what their address was, a hard copy binder that everybody got once a year, you know, that kind of stuff. It's all in our electronic database now. In our Wild Apricot is the program we use that has our membership database in it, our events management. It facilitates the fees that come through for meetings and for memberships. You know, all that is kind of over here automated mostly, right? So some of that secretary role kind of went down because they don't do that anymore. Our sunshine is a person that helps to have that personal touch when something's going on, right? Like, so if somebody has a death in the family or somebody gets a promotion, if Sunshine is made aware of that, they can send out a card, like a snail mail card kind of thing that says, good for you kind of thing. And, you know, we don't get very many of those anymore, right? So it's kind of nice to have that personal touch. Treasurer helps us, you know, keep our books. The website is, you know, managing the data and then trying to communicate the information that's important about who we are. The welcome committee is evolving right now because they were the ones that would normally do the registration table at our in-person events. We're looking at them taking a more active role as far as actually reaching out to new people that are registering and having those conversations. What do you like? What are you interested in? You know, that kind of stuff. This is who we are. Is there a match? You know, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, you know, Women of Distinction for what it is. Foundations is in the process of evolving again to, you know, the stuff that you talked about before, Joanne. And then we've got the special grant opportunity that just came up this year that Irene is our focus point on for working with 9 to 5 to help educate people currently in this environment. So that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see in the names part. And you don't really get to know that until you're part of the board and kind of, you see this at orientation as a member, but you don't get to know what it really is.
Yeah, thanks for going in depth on all of those.
Yeah. Well, it is 1 o'clock, guys. I don't know, respectful of time. Carly, is there any things we left untouched that you had questions on?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
This was a great session, really. I like this like better than
It
the other
was.
ones,
You
I
guys,
think.
yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah. So if you have questions, I can show you around the website anytime. This is just our disclaimer, like don't go spamming our membership. And then it was really thank you. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. We don't need networking time here, huh?
No, I think we had it.
Yeah, not with the four of us.
No.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, thank you, ladies. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I have to go see what was dropped off on my doorstep now.
Right.
My dog's into a tizzy.
All right, enjoy the day.
Hi,
You
everyone.
too.
It was great, Sandy.
See you soon.
Yes, good job. Bye-bye.